Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before starting the video, please consider leaving a like. It really motivates us to keep sharing useful content. Also, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel and activate the little bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos about Islamic faith. Thank you all and enjoy the video. We live in a world that glorifies emotional intensity. The more someone makes your heart race, the more you think it's love. The more you feel butterflies, the more convinced you are that they must be the one. But what if I told you that emotional attachment is not always a sign of divine approval? What if your feelings are not proof of Allah's will, but a test from Him? Sometimes we become so emotionally invested in someone that we begin to believe they are our soulmate simply because we feel strongly about them. Our heart clings to them, our thoughts revolve around them, and we begin to imagine a future with them. We mistake this emotional intensity for divine alignment. But the heart can be deceiving, and not every connection is from Allah. There are moments in life when what you want most is actually what could hurt you most. But your heart doesn't see that. It only feels the thrill, the hope, the closeness. Yet, Allah sees what lies ahead. He sees the tears you don't know you'll shed, the heartbreak that you can't foresee, and the detour this relationship will create in your spiritual journey. That's why sometimes Allah places discomfort, blocks, or confusion in your path, not to punish you, but to protect you from what your emotions are too blind to notice. Emotional attachment is not a spiritual compass. Just because someone makes you feel wanted doesn't mean they are meant for you. Just because you've never felt this way before doesn't mean it's a divine sign. Shaitan knows how to decorate false hopes. He knows how to whisper love stories that lead to pain. He knows how to keep you fixated on someone who might be the very thing pulling you away from Allah. That's why Islam doesn't ask you to follow your heart blindly. It tells you to guard it. How many people have entered relationships because they felt something strong only to later cry out, "Why didn't I see the signs?" The signs were there. The red flags were waving. But the heart was too loud and the soul too silent. That's the danger of confusing emotional intensity with divine destiny. Not everything that feels good is good for you, and not everything that feels painful to walk away from is a loss. Allah says in the Quran, "But perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you, and perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you. Allah knows, and you do not know." Surah Al-Baqarah 216. This verse alone is enough to humble every soul that thinks it knows what's best for itself. The love you think is meant for you might be the love that breaks you. The person you're praying for might be the very person Allah is saving you from. But the heart is stubborn. It wants what it wants. That's why we must learn to align our emotions with the will of Allah, not the other way around. So many people confuse infatuation with divine compatibility. You talk for hours. You feel seen. You feel connected. And you tell yourself, "It must be Allah showing me the way." But did you ask Him? Did you consult Him in prayer? Or are you trying to convince yourself that your desire is His plan? There's a big difference between Allah showing you someone and you forcing your way towards someone. Some people enter your life as a test. They are not a reward. They come to teach you detachment, not fulfillment. And sometimes Allah allows your heart to be drawn to the wrong person just so you can learn how to draw closer to Him. These experiences hurt, but they purify. They cleanse your dependence on people and teach you to rely on the one who never leaves. Before you call someone your soulmate, ask yourself, Does this connection bring you closer to Allah, or does it distract you? Do you feel peace deep in your soul, or are you holding on out of fear, loneliness, or fantasy? Are you building a life together based on faith, or are you feeding a story built on emotional highs and worldly desires? Your heart is not infallible. It is fragile, easily swayed, and constantly changing. That's why the Prophet Muhammad used to make the dua, "O turner of the hearts, keep my heart firm upon your religion." Even he, the most guided of all, feared that the heart could shift away from what is right. So who are we to blindly trust our own feelings? Islam teaches us to lead with faith, not feelings. Yes, emotions are beautiful. Yes, attraction is natural. But neither should be the foundation for decisions that shape your future. Let your faith be your compass. Let Istikhara be your pause button before you leap into something your heart desires, but your soul may regret. Let the Quran, the Sunnah, and your inner tranquility guide you, not the emotional waves that rise and fall with time. The truth is, the person who is truly meant for you will never pull you away from Allah. They will not awaken your desires before your deen. They will not disturb your inner peace or push you into confusion. The one who is written for you by Allah will align with your purpose, your values, and your journey toward Jannah. So don't rush. Don't label someone your soulmate just because they make your heart skip a beat. Instead, listen to what Allah is showing you. Watch the signs. Reflect on the connection. And remember, what's meant for you will always come with clarity, not chaos. Sometimes, the signs Allah sends you are not loud or dramatic. They are subtle, soft, and often easily ignored, especially when your heart is already attached. But those quiet signs can carry more wisdom than all the emotions in your chest. They whisper through discomfort, hesitation, and unease. Yet, when you want someone badly, you silence those whispers. You tell yourself it's just fear. You say, love takes effort, or no one is perfect. And while that may be true in some cases, deep down, you know when your soul isn't at peace. Allah doesn't always send you signs in the form of red lights or closed doors. Sometimes, He leaves the door open, but fills your heart with uncertainty. That's still a sign. Confusion that lingers even after sincere dua is not a sign to proceed. It's a call to pause, reflect, and realign. Because when something is right for you, when it is written by Allah with peace, you may face external challenges. But your soul feels grounded. You feel a quiet kind of certainty. If every time you pray, you still feel doubt, if you find yourself justifying too many things, if you catch yourself hiding certain red flags from your family or your conscience, these are signs. These are not to be dismissed. Allah gives you feelings not to be ruled by them, but to be guided by the ones that come after sincere connection with Him. Inner peace is a form of divine communication. When your heart is aligned with Allah, He places serenity in it when you're walking in the right direction. But when you are moving toward a relationship that could hurt your faith, damage your values, or pull you into sin, that serenity is removed. You start feeling on edge. You notice how many times you're making excuses. You feel the imbalance, even if you don't say it out loud. That discomfort isn't weakness. It's Allah trying to protect you. Also, observe the patterns. When you keep facing barriers, misunderstandings, delays, disagreements, or unexpected distance, those may not be coincidences. Sometimes Allah places obstacles to protect you from a path you think you want, but that will take you away from Him. And instead of being frustrated by those blocks, you must learn to thank Him, because some rejections are divine mercy disguised as disappointment. Istikhara, the prayer for guidance, is not about getting a dream or a voice in your ear. It's about trusting that Allah will make the path clear through ease, clarity, and peace, or through obstacles, doubt, and misalignment. When you ask for a sign and He gives it through discomfort, do not keep begging for another sign just because you didn't like the first one. Listen, reflect. Pay attention to what your soul feels after you pray, not what your ego wants before you pray. Allah never leaves His servants blind. He always sends signs. The question is, are you willing to see them, even when they go against what your heart wants? True love, the kind that is pleasing to Allah, is not just about how someone makes you feel, but about how someone helps you grow. In a world where romance is often portrayed as passion, thrill, and emotional obsession, we forget that the Islamic definition of love is rooted in righteousness. The one who is truly meant for you will not just touch your heart. They will elevate your soul. Before you call someone your soulmate, observe how your relationship with Allah changes in their presence. Do you remember to pray more, or do you start forgetting your salah? Do you feel inspired to be more modest, more sincere, more focused in your deen? Or do you feel yourself slowly letting go of boundaries, excusing sins for the sake of love? This is a crucial test, because a relationship that distances you from Allah, no matter how intense it feels, is not a blessing, it's a distraction. The one Allah sends for you will remind you of Him, not just with words but through their character. They will protect your dignity. They will not awaken desires prematurely. They will not pressure you into secrecy or emotional dependency. They will value your faith more than your beauty. They will want to build something halal, not something hidden. That's because love rooted in taqwa leads to peace, while love rooted in lust leads to restlessness. Allah says in the Quran, "The believing men and believing women are allies of one another. They enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong." Surah At-Tawbah 971. The person meant for you will be your ally in goodness, and not a partner in temptation. They won't just say they believe. They will act in ways that protect both of your souls. Look at the conversations you have with them. Do they uplift your spirit or only feed your desires? Do they encourage you to get closer to Allah? Or are they constantly flirting with the lines of what's halal and haram? The quality of your spiritual connection is more important than the quantity of emotional chemistry. The world may not value this, but Allah does. We often ask, is this person right for me? But the deeper question is, does this person help me become right with Allah? Because your soulmate, in the Islamic sense, is not someone who completes your nafs. It's someone who walks with you to Jannah. They are a mirror, reflecting both your beauty and your flaws, not to shame you, but to help you become better. That kind of love requires patience, sacrifice, and above all, sincerity. Don't settle for someone who only excites your heart. Wait for someone who nourishes your soul. Because in the end, it's not about how loud their love sounds. It's about how quietly and consistently it leads you to Allah. One of the most overlooked signs that Allah may be showing you about someone is found in time itself. Not everything that feels delayed is a denial. Sometimes, Allah stretches the waiting period, not to punish you, but to purify your intentions, to protect you from rushing into something you're not spiritually prepared for. And this divine delay often reveals what the heart refuses to see. If you find yourself constantly waiting on someone to change, waiting for them to commit, waiting for them to be ready, ask yourself this: are you waiting for Allah's will? Or are you waiting for your desire to be fulfilled? There is a difference between sabr and attachment. Sabr brings peace, even in the pause. Attachment brings restlessness, even when the person is near. As this difference is critical in identifying whether you're holding on to a divine bond or clinging to a fantasy. Sometimes, the waiting itself is the test. And in that waiting, Allah uncovers truths. You begin to notice how someone behaves when things don't go their way. You begin to see whether they respect your boundaries consistently or only when it benefits them. You see how much they value your values, even when it's inconvenient. Allah allows time to reveal what appearances and emotions can easily hide. And most importantly, how do you behave during the waiting? Do you get impatient with Allah? Do you beg for this person specifically? Or do you say, "Oh Allah, if this is good for me, bring it close. If it is not, remove it and give me peace"? Because that dua reveals your spiritual maturity. It's a sign that your heart is not worshipping the outcome, but submitting to the wisdom of your Lord. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah reminds us, "But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you. And perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. Allah knows while you know not." 2:216. This verse is not just a comfort, it's a principle. When things seem delayed, denied, or uncertain, remember that your limited vision cannot grasp what Allah is protecting you from or preparing you for. A delayed marriage, a cancelled proposal, or even a painful breakup may feel like loss. But if it brought you closer to Allah, it was never a loss. It was a redirection. It was love in disguise. Real soulmates are not found through forced connections. They are revealed through divine timing. They come when your heart is no longer desperate for someone, but devoted to the one. When you're finally content with Allah's plan, not your own. So don't rush what Allah is taking His time with. The one who's truly for you won't require you to lose your dignity, your peace, or your connection with your Creator. They will come at the right time, in the right way, and they will feel like sakina, not confusion. Trust Allah more than your timeline. He writes better love stories than we ever could. May Allah bless you and guide you to a life filled with mercy, love, and tranquility.